What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the You Know Ball podcast. We have a full house in here for now a twice-a-year tradition on the You Know Ball podcast. The annual, now twice annual, Trade Machine War Crimes, Volume 4. Happy to be here. We have in the house, as always, Sam. Sam, how are you feeling on the eve of the NBA Finals? We will not be talking NBA Finals at all about your Boston Celtics. How you feeling?
Yeah, that's good. Just the way I like it. I think it's good that we're imagining this world where there's a sort of an international criminal court that is held to account for things going on in the world. So that fantasy reality. So I'm glad we're able to put that together here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm living in a fantasy where the NBA Finals isn't happening right now, so I'm glad that we can have some justice.
Maybe Luke. Save me, Rudy Gobert.
Bird flu?
You need to cause a global pandemic, Rudy Gobert.
If the Wolves made the finals, we would really have a shot. I got to be honest. But the Mavericks upsetting them in the Western Conference Finals makes me feel like that bird flu saving us from the Celtics' potential championship is not on the horizon here. But we also have in the house Will, aka Nets Will, aka Celtics Will, aka Magic Will. What's going on, Will?
I'm really so excited to be here. You know, we're here to deal with the hard-hitting questions. Should the straight boyfriends of bisexual women be allowed at Pride? That's what we're here to discuss.
Very important to me personally. So thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. We do exist, and also we love Chappelle Roan. So it's really an exciting time and an exciting month for people like me, and just to feel represented like this is so incredible.
It's your month.
Yeah, I mean
that's what Pride is about. The straight cis boyfriends and bisexual
white men on this. Let's go.
Yes, exactly. Right. So glad. I mean, it is Ball, so of course that would be how we lead. And then we have in the house Gregory Smith, aka Nihilist Bucks. What's going on, Gregory?
I've just been pretending basketball hasn't existed for about a month, and it's been great.
That sounds awesome. Honestly, yeah. I'm very jealous that you're able to just sit back and ignore, things that are going on in the world right now. So let's get started. Let's waste no more time. I'm going to pull up our first Trade Machine War Crime, and it's not a traditional one that we usually do. Mm-hmm. Usually these are ones that we pull from Instagram, from the You Know Ball Discord. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you can get in there. All those kind of things. This one is from a friend of the podcast, Mr. Bill Simmons. Threw this up on Twitter earlier today, and we had to include this.
My God.
It's great. So if you're listening on audio, Bill Simmons tweeted, on text with House, just said yes to the following Wizards trade. Pick 2 for 12, Josh Giddey, and a decent future first. Do we even want to talk about that one?
I mean, there's a lot to be said here. I think Josh Giddey in DC, there's a lot there to unpack.
Yeah.
I mean,
good local pizza spots he could hit up.
Yeah. but I do think, like, trading back from 2 to 12, I actually don't think that's like a horrible trade, because like Giddey's a bad player, but like he's a serviceable player for a bad team. It's basically just adding a second Jordan Poole, but one that'll probably be pretty good, like, in that role.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm not, but in theory,
the least ridiculous one of the three choices.
Oh, wow, because it's funny you say that. I understand that Jordan Poole was already signed to a massive contract, but Jordan Poole was a key member of an NBA Finals team. Josh Giddey basically just sunk his own team's chances.
Josh Giddey started on a 1 seed.
People forget. Just like Ben Simmons in 2021, starter on a 1 seed. Australian tall point guard, and they have many things in common. Okay, so I just got a kick out of that, because I guess you're presuming that the Giddey thing is just you're taking him for free, like it's a flyer. and you don't really see a difference between the second pick and the 12th pick in this draft. And then
your future first.
Yeah,
like,
the future first is really the key here. And we joked like maybe the marketed efficiency is just getting as many picks in this draft as possible. And getting the second pick of the draft if you're OKC, if you really like someone, you're already moved on from Giddey, basically. I mean, they've been trying to trade him for a year for, let's say, reasons. And they have so many picks to trade. It wouldn't be the worst swing in the world if you're OKC. It's just Presti's way too much of an asset pervert to ever do anything like this. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and I assume everyone is fully prepared of themselves for Nikola Topic to be in Oklahoma City. There's zero chance Presti would pass him at 12. If thing. That's 1,000%. That's where I expect him to go at this point.
Yeah, if he falls in the draft, I would imagine that OKC probably takes him at 12. If the Spurs don't take him at 8, that would be what I would imagine right now. Of course, Presti would just take the guy who falls, and basically the idea behind Topic is like, what if Giddey was actually good? So that there's that too. So, all right, the other trades that he came up with here: the second pick, Jordan Poole, and an unprotected first and a pick swap for LaMelo Ball or Trae Young.
God, this really is Simmons' greatest hits in one tweet, with like pretending Giddey is good, pretending LaMelo and Trae suck. He really got so many of his agendas off into like 20 words here.
Yeah, I mean, what bad guys LaMelo and Trae are. Anyway, are you interested in Josh Giddey?
Yeah, right, yeah.
How many picks would it take to get off Poole at this point?
I was gonna say for the third one, Jordan Poole for Bradley Beal says no. And Bradley Beal home.
Bradley Beal might say no to that.
Oh yeah, forgetting he's a fucking no trade clause.
The only player in NBA history, basically.
Him, Kevin Garnett, and
I think
Melo had one, right?
Yeah, I know he's the only player who currently has one. Like I know Jokic, none of them have them.
Yeah, which is great. But which
Giannis has one right now, by the way. But
I mean, sure. I mean, I think all the best players in theory have one. He's the only one that has it written into his contract, though, right?
I'm pretty sure Giannis has his written into his contract.
Okay, fair. I mean, similar level player, so I get it.
Yeah.
So I just to answer your question, I honestly think if you were to trade the Jordan Poole, like the only team that would be willing to take on that contract would probably be the Hornets, because the Hornets are the only team that is like, we have salary cap space and we're rebuilding. And hey, history shows if you have a future Wizards pick, that's probably a pretty good option.
I feel like anyone who's just now getting a job, like I think Detroit would do it now that
yeah, that's possible.
Trajan Langdon is like there, like because he's got a little time now. Like if you just took over the job, I think you're like okay with like if you could get like 2 Wizards firsts for taking on Jordan Poole, that'd be awesome. But
yeah, and also Jordan Poole would instantly be the best guard on the team.
Yeah,
right. Bring him home to Michigan. That's that's where get K the ball.
I just realized this would give the Hawks pick 1 and 2 in like the worst draft of the last 20 years, which is very funny.
Has a team ever had the top 2 picks in a draft? I don't think so.
I'm sure when there was 8 teams that shit happened, but in the modern era, I don't think so.
I was going to say the one I can remember that was very high. The Blazers had 2 very high picks in the draft where they walked away with LaMarcus Aldridge and Brandon Roy. Which
the Cavs had 1 and 4 in 11.
1 and 4, yeah. Tristan Thompson and Kyrie Irving, right in 2011.
They're two of the answers to like the 6 top 5 picks who won a title with their first team. It's only like 6 top 5 picks in the last 35 years, and one of them's fucking. It's like half busts and half superstars and no middle ground. It's great.
And then Tristan Thompson,
yeah,
somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah.
It's like Darko. It's great.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then the last one here is Poole for any other player in the league. Any player in the league? I guess there really isn't anyone that you wouldn't take.
Yeah. Yes. It's anyone in the league. He literally is the worst contract player combo.
I would rather Jordan Poole than Beal.
I maybe the no trade clause. Bradley Beal's a better player than Jordan Poole, though.
It's like he makes like twice the money And like, I don't think Poole just he was fine his last year with the Warriors. You know, like he was like his true shooting was like league average, and like he scored like 20 points a game. And the year before that he was good. And he's what 24, 25.
Yeah, he's 24. So yeah,
I think he just checked out to an aggressive extent last year. I think I'd rather have Poole than Beal straight up. The contract in the back.
It's possible if you consider the contract, because the contract is like Bradley Beal takes up half of your salary cap basically. He just makes it impossible to build a normal team unless you want to spend $500 million on your tax bill and go in the play-in like Matt Ishbia plans to do next year.
Who's like the biggest dweeb in the league? Because we need to get Jordan Poole to punch someone else in practice. I think we wanted him to come back.
Maybe like
Grant Williams.
Oh, Grant Williams.
Jared Allen is a great.
Yeah.
Jared
Allen.
Ow, my tummy hurts.
Yeah. I was gonna say, wait, no, Poole was the one who got punched, so you would need someone that has some balls.
That's what he's saying. No,
I'm saying
like
we need Poole to punch someone.
Okay.
Pass the ghost of getting punched onto someone else.
There you go. I think Grant Williams is a great answer.
Yeah, Grant Williams is
Charlotte it is.
There you go.
Finals week.
There you go.
It's the Grant Williams finals, baby.
Let's go. We're working on this trade as we speak. All right. Let's move on to the first real trade we have here, which blew up on Twitter yesterday, so I had to include it in here. Okay.
This guy gets obliterated. And rightfully so. This is insane. But
this is a Nets fan who posted this, if you could imagine that.
Do you have an original tweet? He's like, we have to milk them for everything they have. It was like, you.
I think Houston will just say no and be fine. Actually,
we're good. Actually, yeah.
And an anonymous friend, podcast who wishes to remain nameless. I replied to this. I don't think the Rockets would offer this for Joel Embiid. And he replied to in my DMs and said, I would trade Joel Embiid for this tomorrow if I'm being honest.
Was that Dredd?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it was.
Okay, well, Dredd, you're no longer allowed on the mock draft next week.
It might have been if he wants to be traded. Like I would do this tomorrow. It might have just been if he wants to be traded, but whatever.
Okay. So right now, the trade, if you're listening, is the Nets getting Dylan Brooks, Alperen Şengün, Tari Eason, and 1, 2, 3, 4 picks. Basically, all of the picks back. I'm assuming, Will.
It's from first and two
swaps. Okay, so it's a first and 2 swaps, or 2 first, 2 swaps. Back
one of which is already a top 3 pick
in this draft. Yes, to the Nets, and then the Rockets get Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I mean, this is like what's a realistic version of this trade? Alperen Şengün for Mikal Bridges?
I don't even know if I was gonna say I don't think I would trade Alperen Şengün. I think this trade with Alperen Şengün out of it isn't terrible.
That's still great.
It's rich, but it's not terrible if you take.
I agree. I agree with what Sam is saying. I think Tari, Dylan Brooks, and then these picks is fair value for Mikal Bridges.
That's so much pick. I guess it's a weird negotiation because then the Nets would theoretically go into the tank on purpose and like they would be multiple top 5. But I have said if I would even let them keep 3 if I could get everything back, like both swaps and 26, I would do that.
Yeah.
So what would be the difference between that trade and this trade?
Well, the 3rd pick and Tari Eason.
And Alperen Şengün.
Well,
right?
Şengün is the main. Yes.
Yeah.
Şengün is like equal value to Mikal Bridges on the trade market.
You get fired for like I think what you guys are saying is like all those picks plus Tari, like you wouldn't instantly get fired. But I think it's still
I mean, this would be insane because, like I said, the thing with Şengün is that, maybe look, the league is going to jerk off because Mikal Bridges is the wing that everyone wants, right? Like guy that's good on defense, and I know hasn't been quite as good recently. He's what?
Şengün's still 21. Like I think people kind of Şengün. Like I think he's their best prospect by far.
Oh, for sure.
I agree, but also I think that if you were to put a 3-and-D wing that can plug into 90% of teams versus Şengün, who you pretty much have to build your roster around, it would be a similar amount of trade value. Even though Şengün is like already a top 30, 35 player at age 21. Like,
yeah, I think he's but like, close, and he's 21. So
yeah. And we'll probably, I mean, he was in the All-Star conversation this year, like at 21 years old.
It's funny. It's so fun. Like, it's so funny how much Rockets fans despise the guy because he's not Jalen Green. Like half of Rockets fans despise their best player. It's really an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, because his dick print isn't good enough.
I believe the term is meat print.
Sure. So walk with me for a second. How many Suns picks, if we just add the Suns picks into for the Rockets before and keep everything else the same before everyone just says yes?
I don't think you could get the Rockets to say yes, even if you added all of them.
All the Suns picks?
So it's 3 picks and a swap. So
they want those Suns picks.
You'd be netting. I don't know. I think if I got Şengün, Eason, and every pick back, I think I'd give them every Phoenix pick.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Will. I just think Şengün's got such value as like to a young team that's trying to like rebuild. That's like exactly what you fucking want.
Sure.
Like a 21-year-old guy on a star trajectory. Like
similar to the Halliburton trade from a few years ago, where it's instantly we're going to be.
It's so much easier to build a good team if you're the bigger your offensive engine is, the easier it is to build a team.
Yep.
So it's just so much. If your offensive engine's a wing or a big, it's so much easier to put good players around.
I'm going full process brain mode here. I totally agree. You guys are objectively right, but my process brain mode says, and you would get your own picks back, so that makes it obviously easier. But my process brain mode goes, those Suns picks though.
They're so good.
They're good.
Yeah. It's just you can see the cliff coming. Like you can see it from a mile away.
Yeah. Like the Nets have 27, 29, and the swap in 28 all and like the
Nets have reversed the fortune that was once put on them. Actually, twice has been put on them.
It's fucking insane.
And now they're on the other side of it, and they might want to avoid the. It's just anyway. Let's just move on to the next one. All right, here we go. Now we're getting good.
I saw NB tweet this earlier, and I went through the quotes, and everyone's just like laughing. But one of them was like a completely earnest Knicks fan who had like a 30-tweet thread.
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, exactly. It was like
so
he was pulling up screenshots of like StatHead and like going through Julius Randle like against I can't remember who it was, but it was just like this insane diatribe that it's just like, do you not see where it says trade machine war crimes at the bottom of this tweet?
Yeah. Like, because Julius Randle missed this playoffs, a lot of Knicks fans seem to have forgotten that Julius Randle has ever played in a playoff game and what it looks like when Julius Randle plays in a playoff game.
Well, Paul George is a playoff dropper, so you know.
Hey, that's playoff P you're talking about.
Yeah, hey, best player on a conference finals team 3 years ago, Paul George. Who, yeah, sure, he's had some not great moments in the playoffs, but Julius Randle not the most reliable guy when you get to May and June.
Like Paul George's stats versus the Nuggets in the bubble would be like the best playoff games Randle has ever played by far. Like it wouldn't even be close.
I was gonna say, what is Randall's best playoff game? Did he have a good one in like the Hawks series?
I think he had one good one last. No, Hawks was all bad. I think there was one with the Heat that was like pretty good, or maybe it's still the Heat. There was one game last year. It was genuinely pretty good.
So I probably shouldn't even bother saying this, but this is also extremely, you can't, the Knicks are a presumed second apron team. You cannot aggregate salaries.
Yeah.
So this doesn't work anyway, obviously. But
so this is Julius Randle, Bojan Bogdanovic, the 24th pick in the draft, and 2 future firsts from the Knicks going to the Clippers for Paul George in a sign and trade. He would basically have to opt in and then get traded from there. One, yes, it is illegal because of the second apron talk. But 2, Why are the Knicks giving up 3 firsts for look, I get it. I think we've talked about the idea of Paul George but if the Clippers option is to lose Paul George and he walks and he signs with the Sixers, wouldn't they have no leverage in these talks?
Essentially a sign-in. Like
it's essentially a sign-in trade, which, Porzingis got traded for Tyus Jones last offseason. So you're getting Julius Randle, who, say what you will about Julius Randle, he's made multiple All-NBA teams and All-Star teams. And also, Bojan Bogdanovic, he's not on a crazy contract, too, Randle. It's actually a pretty reasonable contract.
Well, and then, I mean, below market what he does in the regular season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Bojan Bogdanovic, who is just salary filler in this deal, but you can flip later. And then 3 first-round picks for a guy, like I said, that they could just lose for. Why would the Clippers have any leverage in these talks?
Well, you never know. They could pull a Daryl Morey and just hold him hostage.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, because, in a way, Randle and Kawhi are like the perfect fit because Randle carries them to like the 3 seed in the regular season, and then you injure him right before the playoffs, and then have Kawhi. You just do Pat Riley.
New Tyler Hero just dropped. Let's go.
Yeah, you donate all of Julius Randle's body parts to Kawhi Leonard in between the regular season and the playoffs.
Perfect. We love it.
Terrence Mann walks in. I haven't seen Julius around recently.
Where'd he go? Boy.
Yeah. Also, Billy says, thank you, Sam, for pointing out that this trade is not legal because it's obviously so realistic.
I'll keep doing this. I'll keep drinking that garbage.
Well, actually.
Well, you see here, the big problem with this trade is that it doesn't observe the new CBA.
All right, let's get it.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Now we're talking, baby.
Is that 5 firsts?
Yes. Okay. All right. So this mock trade is Ben Simmons, Cam Johnson, the Sixers 2027 first, 2 Phoenix first unprotected, and 2 Brooklyn first protected. I don't know why those are protected, but the Phoenix first.
Well, they have to be 2029 and 2031. It's the only 2 picks the Knicks could trade. So,
well, I was gonna ask because that's being sent to Atlanta in this trade. But I was gonna ask, do you think the person who made this is aware of the fact that you can add protections in trades? Like for example, it says here top 8 protected for the Sixers pick, which is what that pick is protected right now that we traded for James Harden. Mm-hmm. But then the Phoenix picks are unprotected. Do you think this person is remotely aware of the fact that you can then add, like the Nets could add a top 5 protection to those Phoenix picks?
Yeah, no.
Definitely. And they would do that in this situation. Why would you ever give 2 unprotected Phoenix picks in addition to 3 other first round picks in this trade?
Yeah, I think you're really overestimating how much thought this person put into this.
I am. But
Trae Young, let's go, baby.
I was going to say the Nets get Trae Young, who currently is on a $43 million a year deal, and then Clint Capella's basically expiring contract because he's washed. So
and they're required to do if they want to take Ben Simmons back, I guess.
Well, if they're rebuilding, I mean, I guess that's the idea. Not that any of these things have any thought behind it, but if Atlanta's rebuilding, getting 5 first round picks, and you're getting on Ben Simmons with 1 year left. Yeah.
Who cares about him? And then you flip Johnson, you probably get another first for him. Yeah, like 6. You'd be getting more for Trae Young than like Donovan Mitchell and Kevin Durant went for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this is all. I love Trae Young. I love the respect Trae Young is getting here. This is a lot. This is a lot for Trae Young.
Well, also, we're getting reports every day that like Darius Garland has more trade value. Brandon Ingram has more trade value. We're gonna get like a Tyler Hero has more trade value thing next week.
Trae Young and Darius Garland get talked about is fucking crazy. Like people think Garland is 19 and Trae's 30. They're like 11 months apart in age.
Yeah.
And Trae is they have all the same problems except I guess maybe Garland is a little everyone's like, oh, well, maybe Garland can play off ball. Well, he had to do that for a year, and it's basically said, if you keep making me play off ball, I want to trade. So
Yeah.
Trae Young was good. I've watched Trae Young be good in the playoffs, albeit a little Mickey Mouse, but he was. I've seen him be good in the playoffs. So
Ryan's cooking. Garland isn't even as good as Nembhard. He's right.
Ooh, Cook.
Yep. Facts.
I think it's just that all of the players hate Trae Young, so they're just fueling the media people. Like, no, this guy sucks.
I'm very much in the camp of hate Trae Young, but defend Trae Young.
Yeah.
Like I actively dislike him, but he's very underrated.
Yeah, Will's in the. If you look at the Trae Young quadrant that someone has made in the Discord, Will's in what I would describe. I think that's like the libertarian right side.
Yeah. The political compass. Yeah.
Yes. Hates Trae Young but defends Trae Young. That's where Will is in this quadrant that someone has created.
Such a little rat.
Yeah.
But he's great.
But,
he's a walking outside offense.
Exactly. There you go.
The best player he's ever played with is like fucking John Collins, who sucks.
Respect Jalen Johnson. Anyway, speaking of, oh no, next, not this trade. Another Atlanta Hawks trade.
What now?
This guy does that for every single time a pick is included. It's amazing.
Wait, so if it's like 4 first, does he put 4 first?
Yes.
Awesome. Empty silhouettes on his mock trade. I love. First off, I love all their like sassy stances going on here. Why
is everyone arms akimbo? Them being arms akimbo?
Yeah, no, that's all. They all look like this in every trade too. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think those are their like real bodies. I don't think he like photoshopped the jerseys on the bodies. I think he
he has 4 pictures of one guy with his hands at his sides and photoshops everything.
Hold on, wait, I need to speak for a second. This is the same guy that photoshopped I believe he photoshopped Damian Lillard. He photoshopped Paul George's face onto Damian Lillard's body when he was traded, which like they couldn't have more different body types. Like who is 9 on the Hawks that Jimmy Butler has been photoshopped into?
Is that Justin Murray?
Is that one of the Holiday brothers?
I feel like it's one of the Holiday brothers. I think that's Justin Holiday.
That was my first guess as well.
Yeah, it does not look like Jimmy Butler's build. Is all I'll say.
I think it's a retired number. It's Bob Pettit's number.
What?
Yeah, it's a retired number. You can't be number 9 on the Hawks because it's Bob Pettit's number, and it's fucking retired. God damn it.
Yeah, no, that can't be. Aaron's is so tiny. It has to be Dustin.
But also, why? All right, so you went through the trouble of photoshopping this on a retired number, but also Jimmy Butler has never worn 9.
Yeah, why would he be 9?
Rondo's the only player I can think of that wears 9.
Oh my god.
But anyway, the mock trade here is the Hawks get Jimmy Butler. The Heat get the number 1 overall pick in this draft, DeAndre Hunter, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Clint Capella. Which honestly, if they were to trade Jimmy Butler, them doing a trade that really makes no sense kind of adds up to me in terms of like, we always want to be competitive, so we got to get Bogdan, but also we will take DeAndre Hunter, who has a horrible contract, Clint Capella, who's fully washed, and the first pick of the draft because we're the Heat and we want to.
I honestly think the Heat would do this and get better. Like I would.
Yeah,
like Clint Capella would get on that Kevin Love medication and immediately be like a 15-15 guy again. DeAndre Hunter would magically not suck. Bogdan is like if Hero was good. You know,
100%. And then they would nail the first overall pick. Like Sar would be better Evan Mobley.
Yeah, they do this to get better. Like I
see.
And
why
would Atlanta do this though? Why Atlanta's getting Jimmy Butler? What?
Jimmy can like punch Trae in the face or something. I don't know.
They need their own Draymond.
They're also, I mean, they're getting off the DeAndre Hunter contract, which, like, yes, I would pay the first overall pick in this draft to get off the DeAndre Hunter contract. But I'm being facetious. But it is a very silly like trade. I don't understand. I think it's clearly a Heat fan who started from the premise, what would it take for us to get the number 1 overall pick of this draft, and just reverse engineered it from there. Which he clearly just took all the big salary that they have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just mystified by what a DeAndre or a Jimmy Butler, DeJounte Murray, and Trae Young team would look like. It would probably be pretty good. It would just be very mismatched, and Jimmy will be physically cooked in like 2 years. And then what do you do?
Imagine that locker room just absolutely rancid.
Yeah, that does not sound like good vibes mixed all together.
Jalen Johnson's gonna run away, like run away from home. He's just gonna quit the team.
Yeah, I mean that's. Speaking of Jalen Johnson, let's pull up my next trade, which was submitted in the Unoball Discord by Sixers Jake today. We have the Sixers getting Jalen Johnson and them trading the 16th pick in this draft, and then every other for. Oh, I didn't even read this correctly. It's only one I thought we were trading. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we were trading 5 first-round picks here for Jalen Johnson, and in my mind, I was like, I would do it.
He's great. He would help us. I mean, he's like kind of the perfect for MVP. 5 firsts.
I was gonna say. Well, here's the thing, though. Not only is he a perfect fit, but in this scenario, we could also sign Paul George. So if we sign Paul George, got Jalen Johnson, you have Maxey, Paul George, Jalen Johnson, and Embiid. Plus, I don't even care who else is on the rest of the team. That's a fucking fantastic fit with those 4 guys. But I'm now realizing that a Sixers fan made this. So we only give up the 16th pick in this whatever draft. The worst of OKC, Houston, and the Clippers.
Guaranteed pick in the 20s.
And then the Clippers pick in 2029, and then 2 seconds. So
that 2029 Clippers pick might be okay.
That's like the one real. I don't know. I think Johnson be a fucking star. Like I would. Yeah, I would trade Trae and DeJounte before I would trade Jalen.
I really like Jalen Johnson. I do think that this is probably closer than you guys are giving it credit for, because he's this is the last year of his rookie scale, I think, right? So he's due to get paid.
Yeah,
so
the last thing you want to do is pay good players. I agree.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, that does like impact things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be.
They only like to pay DeAndre Hunter, DeJounte Murray. They don't like paying good players. They only like paying bad players.
I agree with you guys, but I think honestly, realistically, I do think it's like possible it would look something like this. I don't think this is like super far off. But I don't know. You would need to really be tearing it down, and I don't think the Hawks are really tearing it down. Like, I think the Wizards would do this if they had Jalen Johnson, for example.
Well, I mean, Denny is basically their Jalen Johnson. So like,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that Morty would say, I can find Jalen Johnson. I'll just get Jalen Johnson, the 70% of Jalen Johnson for 2 first-round picks or whatever from the Wizards or from another team. And that is where that's why he keeps his job for so long, because he doesn't blow all his assets. And 2, that's also why the Sixers never have good role players. Because it's literally just like, well, what if we took a good player and we had 70% of that? And then I'm like, that's not a very good player, though. I would prefer to have 100% of a good player instead of 60 or 70% of a good player that I acquired for half the price. I'm just saying. I think at a certain point, now look, I'm not saying you should push all your chips on Jalen Johnson, but at a certain point, you got to nut up. You just got to make a move. Like, you can't just fucking kick the can down the road. You can't keep doing these like, oh, we gave up this pick for this nice bench player or whatever. Yeah. You got to acquire real good role players, and that's what this would be doing, is you're acquiring one of the best role players in the NBA that has more upside.
The Sixers desperately need the 67th best player in the NBA, because they've really never fucking had that. Like, they always have like 2 top 30 players and then like a bunch of guys outside the top 150.
Exactly. Or like what, like Yeah, like, oh, we have D'Anthony Melton, who's like the 113th best player in the NBA and can't play in the playoffs.
That was great.
Trill, the best I can do is like Corey Brewer or someone else on that Rockets team that hasn't been signed yet.
Is Corey Brewer? Eric Gordon, is he a free agent? Let's call him up. He's been trying to chase Eric Gordon ever since he got here.
Trevor Ariza is going to come out of retirement to be a Sixer.
Let's go.
Go
seventh time with Morey.
Go 1 for 10 from 3 in an elimination game.
He'll never learn. He'll never learn, Daryl Morey. Anyway, trade 5 first for Jalen Johnson. Make me the new GM. I'll lose my job within a year, guaranteed. All right.
Oh, yeah, let's go. This is my favorite trade.
Oh my God.
Why?
All right. So,
Yeah.
all right. You got it. Will, don't read the trade.
Sorry.
This is the Rockets getting Darius Garland and George Niang, plus the 20th pick in this draft. I didn't even know the Cavs had the 20th pick in this draft, but there you go. For Fred VanVleet, the 3rd pick in this draft, Tari Eason, and a future Houston first. So, like, well, obviously, a lot of these are like, why would Houston ever do this? But look, I know that everyone keeps saying this is a bad draft, but to go from like Fred VanVleet and Darius Garland, I know Darius Garland just had a bad year, and I know Fred VanVleet has been on like championship teams. They're roughly around the same tier of player on the whole. Like, I don't really think that, they're massively different in terms of if you put them on a random team. I know Fred's a little bit better defensively, but Darius is obviously a little bit better on offense. But the difference in their value is not Tari Eason and the 3rd pick in the draft plus an extra first.
Plus a George Niang salary dump. Like, that's a
bad
contract.
That part too.
Yeah.
The contract sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty bad, like, I think that you have to operate from the idea that, like, Fred VanVleet, because I think there's only 1 more year on Fred VanVleet's contract.
Yeah, it was like 2 for
it can't
or whatever it was.
It only has to be 1.
Yeah. So I think what they're operating under the assumption here is that, like, they're gonna like lose Fred VanVleet, so they've got to like trade. He's like basically salary filler, but like Fred VanVleet's like, I think people forget that Fred VanVleet was like a very good player for like a fucking championship team. Like, we've seen him be like extremely important in the playoffs. Like, he wasn't a starter, but he was a 6th man. Like,
people that listen to this podcast don't forget because I just said it a minute ago.
Oh, okay. Well,
you could make a case he was the Rockets' best player this year, and that, like, definitely the main reason why they won 18 more games, and they went from a fucking joke to like a 500 team.
Sure.
Fred's really good. And I feel like there's some kind of bit I'm not in on with Darius Garland, where I just don't understand the way people talk about him like he's Tyrese Halliburton, and he's just like way worse than that. I don't know. And he's like 24. It's not like he's that young anymore, and he's really small. I don't like. I think that might be a bad contract.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to make $40 million a year by the end of this. I know Fred VanVleet makes 40 for next year, but it's the last year of the deal.
Yeah.
What I just think people are forgetting is that Fred VanVleet was like really instrumental in a championship team. We've seen it.
No, but I mean, Garland's defense is so fucking bad. Like, Fred is Fred and Larry, the two short kings from that Raptor team, like the very rare 5'11" guys who are somehow decent defenders. Because Garland's terrible on defense. They're
like, I see them as pretty similar levels of player. Like, let's not forget that Fred VanVleet was an instrumental part of an NBA championship team. I've got that in my head for some reason. I don't know.
People forget, dude. People are always forgetting. I'm constantly walking up to people on the street and having to remind them, do you remember when he hit all those threes? Remember,
I have never forgotten. Fred VanVleet had a child and turned into Steph Curry.
Yeah.
My dreams.
He got a Finals MVP vote. Kawhi was not the unanimous Finals MVP. One guy voted for Fred VanVleet.
Good, because people forget that he was a big part of a championship team.
Okay.
People forget. Memento, Fred VanVleet was part of a big championship.
Don't believe his lies with a picture of Masai Ujiri.
Famously doesn't take care of his guys, Masai Ujiri.
Yeah.
Traded both Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby before he had to pay them. Disgusting. What a horrible way to run a team. I would have just kept them. Anyway. After I spent 2 years begging him to blow it up.
Yeah.
All right. Someone said, am I in a K-hole? You're not in a K-hole. This is just hell. All right.
Yeah, you died. Welcome to hell.
All right.
I love the black empty thing.
The silhouettes are we've got more silhouettes, folks.
Those are fantastic.
Okay. Once again, everyone
Look
is
how
arms
buff-
akimbo.
Look
Everyone is
how
arms
buff
akimbo.
Cat is.
Cat looks great, dude. He's glowing.
Probably Mirko.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is not Cat's build for sure. So this is the New York Knicks getting Karl Anthony Towns, the Minnesota Timberwolves getting Julius Randle, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and 2 first-round picks in 2027 and 2029.
Bogdanovic.
What did I say?
Oh, you said they wrote Bogdan, but that's Boyan.
Congrats, Minnesota just gets the better Bogdanovic in this trade somehow. I don't is Atlanta aware of this? You know what's funny about this trade? Is that if you had told me this a year ago, I would have said that's Bojan Bogdanovic. And also I would have said, how is he on the Knicks? But now that I know that this is the case, I think the Knicks would have done this a year ago. And somehow Karl Anthony Towns' stock was at an all-time high 3 weeks ago, and now everyone thinks he's a loser again.
Are we sure Tibbs would even sign off on getting Cat back? Are we
He
sure?
apparently, Ian Begley reported it. Never mind. I was going to say, Ian Begley reported that they had apparently been made up like a year ago when they were monitoring the Cat situation, and Minnesota could have possibly traded him.
Tibbs is a big Towns guy now that he doesn't have to coach him at all. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no, I don't have to deal with you. I think you're great.
Yeah. But also, Ian's track record with anything, especially related to the Knicks, not very good. I don't think they've ever traded for anyone he's ever. No, that's not true. They did trade for Alec Burks back. He reported that. So you got to give Ian credit there. Shout out to Ian for getting a single one right, and it was a guy that used to play for the Knicks. Another Tibbs favorite, Alec Burks. So
I love the idea of like Joe Mazzulla saying like I would love to make a trade for Towns, and like he comes in and like Cat's there and he's like, what the fuck? I meant like 9 copies of The Town on DVD. I didn't want Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony the Town.
Karl Anthony the Towns.
They bring him in and he's just reciting random quotes from The Town to him. Like, can I leave your office now, Joe?
Yeah.
Getting very strange.
It's like when in the Simpsons episode when Mr. Burns comes back and Frank Grimes is there. He's like, no, Smithers, I meant The Towns. And then later he's just got Joe Mazzulla just has the 2 DVDs of The Town that he's with him. Anyway, Simpsons fans will love that.
I was gonna say I can't believe we were 44 minutes in and we finally got a millennial TV reference. That was the first one.
Yeah.
So it took us 44 minutes.
These 2 black silhouettes are not the same, and also I don't think are any of the people in this picture. But who the hell are they?
One looks like Andrew Wiggins. The one on the left looks like it could be Andrew Wiggins.
The one on the right kind of looks like it could be James Harden, just based on the overall lack of difference between the neck and the head.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Anyway,
there's not really much else to say about this trade. This was a great one. So keep in mind, Paul George is a free agent. Throwing it out there.
Really like Paul George.
Yeah. So Paul George gets sent to the Houston Rockets for Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., Steven Adams, and the 3rd overall pick. The Clippers would be like instantly yes.
That's
Yeah,
3
sure.
top 5 picks. Jabari was the 3rd pick. Thompson was the 4th pick and the 3rd pick. So 3 top 5 picks and another rotation player.
We've been saying, why would the Clippers ever let Paul George walk? Because they have this new stadium opening up. They really don't have any other options. No ways to replace him. This is the one we have found the one scenario why they let Paul George walk. Because in a sign-in trade, they get Ahmed Thompson, Jabari, and the 3rd pick.
Can I say something?
And
My brain was like auto-filling like this whole time because I was like, the only way it made sense. I was like, oh, well, yeah, Jalen Green, obviously. And I'm realizing Jalen Green isn't in the trade. That's Amen Thompson. That's front and foremost. So obviously you're not going to fucking do that. Like, they're giving up like the best. They're giving up all their actually good top picks.
Wait, but why would Paul George want to go to Houston if he can't play with the mayor of Houston?
That's
Remember,
true.
He did dub Jalen Green the mayor of Houston.
Sam, I do want to point out that you said they're giving up all their best assets, but you forget that Fred VanVleet was an instrumental part of the team.
That's true.
That's why Paul George wants to go to Houston to play with him.
Yeah. Forget about that. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Do you guys know that Steven Adams was an instrumental part of a lot of the Thunder teams that
lost to the Warriors all the time?
The Grizzlies back when they won a lot of games before they ruined their team by trading for Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
He's coming back. We sure hope there isn't a Marcus Smart trade later in the program.
Unbelievable. I can't believe you would do this to us.
Yeah.
I do just want to point out Steven Adams going to the Clippers to reunite with James Harden after all these years. Did they ever get to play together?
No, the Adams pick was part of the trade.
Oh yeah, you're right. Fuck.
Right.
Yeah. It was a year apart. I was going to say they're both used to losing to the Warriors in the playoffs, so it would be a nice way to reunite. But yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right. We finally got a Donovan Mitchell trade. I can't believe it took this long. I guess people kind of gave up on the idea of Donovan Mitchell getting traded after all these reports, but
yeah, can he just fucking extend already? Like, come on, stop dragging it out. What a dick.
Yeah. I think he has to wait until the end of the season now. That's why he has to do it.
But I don't know. If the Cavs got this return, I think they just have to say, wow, I think it's in our best interest to do this trade.
Exactly. You have Jaime Jaquez, Josh Giddey, Duncan Robinson, the 12th pick in the draft, and a 2025 first for Donovan Mitchell to the Heat. And then OKC gets the luxury of taking on both Tyler Hero and George Niang's contracts. What?
I think this person thinks that Mitchell's still in Utah because Utah would prioritize getting players like Duncan Robinson and Josh Giddey back in a trade more than
I was just
Utah really would like a Josh Giddey type.
I was going to say there's so many white guys in this trade. This is not realistic at all for Donovan Mitchell. Yesterday I rolled over my balls in the gym, and this made me more nauseous than when that happened to me. Seeing this trade. This is the most absurd one. So the Heat are giving up Duncan Robinson and Jaime Jaquez and Tyler Hero, and that's Donovan Mitchell.
Hey. And a 2025 first round.
No. Remember the Stepien rules. OKC is giving up the 12th pick.
OKC has. This is a classic Heat pick. Like the Heat fans are like the king of this. Like a lot of people do this Twitter where they make a 3-team deal and like their favorite team gets the good shit. Doesn't actually give anything up, and like the Heat fans are like the go to this. They're like, all right, we send Hero, and then that team sends a bunch of shit, and then we get the superstar.
Yeah, but look, Jaime Jaquez had a great rookie season and then shot 47% true shooting in the playoffs. So you got to consider
he's basically the same age as Donovan Mitchell. So
stocks at an all-time high for him, honestly. Basically, what if we gave you all of our shitty players and we got a top 12 player back in the middle of his prime to pair with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler? Would you consider this?
Josh Giddey is more qualified to be an Ohio House of Representatives person than he is a basketball player in the state of Ohio. Like, this is absurd.
Him and Jim Jordan, a lot in common.
Yeah. This one is the grossest one so far. I'm going to be honest. This one, at least the other ones, I could make a credible case for this. This is like absurd.
Making the Heat better. I can't believe you would do this to us. I mean, they get away with it anyway. We're moving on to the next trade.
You know,
This is my favorite type of trade.
Okay.
This is the real gross shit. Right
this
here.
is my favorite trade that we've done so far.
Yeah.
Because someone looked at the Suns situation and said, you know what they need? More guards that can score. What if we got rid of Bradley Beal, got off that contract, but we brought in Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson? Honestly, Drew Eubanks, they lost a second-round pick for tampering with him. You got to think, it might be a little bit of sunk cost fallacy, but they gave up a second-round pick to get Drew Eubanks. So the Jazz get Bradley Beal and Drew Eubanks, and then the Suns get Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson.
I just want to remind everyone that I just want to wonder if the Suns GM even takes this to Bradley Beal, because again, he has a full no trade clause. He's going to go, what about Utah? And before he even finishes the sentence, no.
Utah wants to make win now moves, and they're like, we got to get Bradley Beal on a supermax on our
What if we got hold on? What if we got 31-year-old Bradley Beal on a supermax to do the same exact thing that Colin Sexton does for $17 million a year? And then when Colin Sexton goes to the bench, Jordan Clarkson just does that a little bit shittier, and he makes $11 million a year.
Imagine a lineup of Sexton, Clarkson, Booker, Durant, and Bol.
Oh my God!
Real fucking hoops. Bottom stop would be like, these guys would wipe the 2001 Lakers off the court.
No, because Baldwin Stop's weirdly nostalgic for that era. He would definitely say the 2016 Warriors, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because he's nostalgic for the ball stopping era, the dead ball era.
I'm shocked that he thinks the best basketball era was the one when he was 9. He's just Super 70 sports for millennials.
That's so true.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's it's the same reason why all the music that I like growing up is the best. All the movies were better.
Came out when I was 9,
Yeah. Well, that's true. Pokemon games fucking suck now. I do want to be fair. Pokemon games are absolute dog shit nowadays. They don't even try anymore. But that's the one exception. So all right, let's move on to the next one here. Okay,
we have to read the first one first. This is a mock trade that only if the Utah Jazz decide to tank for Cooper Flag. We have to keep that in mind before we move on to the next part of the trade.
Which, by the way, the Jazz should consider doing. They do need the Great White Savior to come to Salt Lake and save them, because we've joked about it before. The Jazz trying to be competitive and trading shit for like B-tier stars. Bradley Beal, sure. Or even like Brandon Ingram. Like, no, it doesn't. It's a stupid move in the West, is what we've been getting at, is that it's never going to work out for them. But this trade is, like NB said, this is if we decide to tank for Cooper Flag. And this is the Jazz getting the 3rd pick of the draft, Amen Thompson, Jayshawn Tate, and then a first-round swap with the Nets, a first-round pick from the Nets in 2026, and then a first-round pick, top 10 protected from Houston in 2027. And then the Rockets get Lauri Markkanen. You know what's funny about this? Is that I actually kind of like this trade for both sides. Now, it's probably too much for Lauri Markkanen. I mean, I'm assuming that the Rockets are very high on Amen Thompson.
I would do this without time. Like 3 firsts for Lauri.
I was going to say, it's 3 firsts and a swap for Lauri. Like, I was going to say, if you removed Amen from it, or if you kept Amen in it and you just removed the picks and got like 1 extra, just like 1 first instead of like 3 firsts, I think that this is the framework is reasonable. It's just way too much to give up for Lauri Markkanen, I think, if you're the Rockets.
And all the graphic design makes my head hurt. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I
could tank for Cooper.
I have to describe it, like, I have to hammer home for the people like listening what MB said. This is a 2-part graphic.
Yes.
Where they put the drive font on it, like Lauri Markkanen to Houston, like it's like weirdly like Miami Vice style, and it's like it's I've never seen a a trade with a disclaimer on it to like not make the fans like pissed at him. Like this is if we decide to be bad.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Don't yell at me in the comments, by the way. First off, or a poster, a hot takesman, or whatever. You got to know, don't ever preface it with anything like that, because the real way to get engagement is just to post it without any context and then to have people yell at you. That's how you fucking do it.
Just let's see. Let's think about this trade. I mean, the Rockets would get Lauri Markkanen to pair with Tari Eason and Sengun, and they'd have Eam coaching, and then really have the buildings of a contender, especially when they're led by a guard who's had championship experience in Fred VanVleet.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, let's move on to the next one. I was going to say it does look like a cup of lean has been spilt on the font here, so I do appreciate that. All right, so okay, so keep in mind, I had to put the Trae Young part in it because it just got to the point where there was too much information to include here. This graphic design is absolutely horrible. And it also made my head hurt trying to follow this trade. But just the gist of it, the Nets get Trae Young, the Cavs get DeJounte Murray, and then the Hawks get Darius Garland, Ben Simmons, 5 first-round picks, including 2 from Phoenix. I'm sorry, 3 from Phoenix. All the Suns picks that the Nets have. The 20th pick in this draft, and then a pick via the Sixers as well that they got in the James Harden trade, and 2 seconds. And they give up DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, but yeah, I don't know. This trade just made my head hurt. Why are the Hawks taking back Darius Garland if they're rebuilding? Or is he just to help them stay competitive? Also getting 5 first for these guys?
I was gonna say, so if I'm reading this right, the Nets are giving up all of their Phoenix picks and Ben Simmons for Trae Young.
So 4 first and Ben Simmons for Trae Young. And the Cavs are giving up Darius Garland, the 20th pick in this draft, and 2 second-round picks for DeJounte Murray, who's about the same as Darius Garland, in my opinion. Maybe a little better in the playoffs, but I think about the same level of player in the regular season.
Yeah, you know, DeJounte hasn't proven he's a playoff dropper because he can't even get his team in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
In 35 games a year, you never get the playoff dropper label.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say that's actually a really smart move by DeJounte. Can we pull up his play-in stats? I know he's been in the play-in like 4 times.
Tanks the play-in game so that people don't realize he sucks in the playoffs.
And even if he's good in the play-in games, those stats aren't anywhere to be found. They don't exist.
Yeah.
They just go into the ether. So, all right.
I mean, this makes me want to jump off a bridge, but yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say, Will, you basically just blow all your picks and get Trae Young. That's what happens here, and then you have no draft picks, and you just add Trae Young to the Hawks.
So to be clear, if Cam Thomas got sent out, I might do it. But otherwise, it's a no from me.
Yeah, I know you're the Cam Thomas. I was thinking Cam Johnson because Nets fans all love Cam Thomas and hate Cam Johnson. So
right, because Nets fans only like bad players. I know it's confusing to fans who root for normal teams. But since the Nets are actually built a good team, the fans have this weird psychosis where they only like bad basketball players and that they hate good players.
Fair. Totally fair. And also, I do just want to point out, this is the same fan base that tried to talk themselves into Daniel Jones, Giants quarterback, for multiple contracts in the NFL. It's been since 2019.
His bio is like Cam Thomas and Daniel Jones stan. And I was like, I think you just love bad players. Like,
hey, let me introduce you to something called Draft Twitter. You're going to love these guys.
All right. Jared Culver's going to put it all together this year. Look at his tape from high school.
I'm telling you, the leap to 10th man is coming for Jaden Springer next year. I guarantee it. All right.
Oh, these trades, I just want to say, are vile. They are an abomination. the person who makes these should go to Guantanamo Bay, like directly to jail.
Big Larry Page, and I included it in this snip, but every single trade is only comment, every single post is W trade ?
It's also like there's a grid. Like I'm going to describe this for everyone. So he clearly makes these in Excel, and he like backfills the cells with like the middle third of the NBA logo. So it's just like Jerry West's like dick and balls and like where he's holding the basketball. And he puts that in all the cells. But the thing is, he doesn't even crop like the cells that aren't needed. So like this one, he's only using 5 cells deep worth of information and yet leaves 8 of them. So at the bottom, there's just a 3x2 square of completely unused space.
I also had to make a screen so I could read the font.
Yeah, what is that shit on the right? I can't even read that.
That's their contract details by year. So I'm glad that he included that.
Graphic design is my passion. Like, seriously, this is insane.
This is beautiful. Okay, so the Atlanta Hawks. Hold on, let me.
You know.
The Atlanta Hawks receive Devin Booker. The Phoenix Suns get DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, and a 2029 unprotected first. And then 2 seconds. I was like, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, so what did they said? Like 3 firsts, 4 firsts? Because like, okay, DeAndre Hunter sucks. Clint Capella's washed, as we've gone over 100 times. DeJounte Murray is way worse than Devin Booker. And why is Atlanta trading? Like, I mean, yes, Atlanta should do this if it's available, sure. But also, like, where we just want to see Trae Young and Devin Booker together, I guess, is the hypothesis of this.
Yeah,
wouldn't it be sick? Wouldn't it be sick if we just got 2 hoopers on the same team?
But Trill, have you considered the fact that the second round picks are unprotected?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Unprotected second round picks. Yeah. That's the thing that we're always looking for.
The Wolves pick next year. You know, the Wolves might totally suck next year. I mean, they're not going to be any good.
We got to get their second round pick. That's the number one asset everyone is targeting.
Not going to be any 50s.
Oh my God, unbelievable!
I'm always saying the Suns' problem is they don't have enough ball stoppers who want to cook in the mid range. So exactly. I really think that if they add DeJounte and DeAndre Hunter and get some more mid range artists in there, then it'll all be fixed.
Yep.
And that
look. You get your ball stopping mid range guys, but then you also get another wash big. Maybe if you just acquire all the wash bigs, eventually they'll be not washed, and then you have Nurkic and Capella. I love this trade for the Suns. The more I think about it, the Suns should just do whatever trades because nothing matters for them anymore. We're nihilist Suns now. Nothing they do matters. They are going to be fucked either way, as we've gone over 1,000 times. So, all right, let's move on to the next one.
How many of these are there? They hurt my head.
This is one of the last ones here for these. This is the Orlando Magic getting Mikal Bridges and a sign-and trade for Nick Claxton. 3 years, $60 million for him. Nice average for Nick Claxton. The Nets get your guy, Wendell Carter Jr., Jonathan Isaac in Brooklyn. This is already a terrible idea. Jonathan Isaac in Brooklyn. He's awesome. Going to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge.
No, he just goes to Staten Island.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say he'll commute from Staten Island.
Yeah. Perfect. Jonathan Isaac would love Staten Island. That's like,
that
would be incredible for him. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Pete Davidson until he sees his Hillary Clinton tattoo. And then he'll be like, I can't trust this guy anymore.
Yeah, no, this is outside of that, they agree on everything else, though.
Exactly. Yeah. I've always said that Jonathan Isaac is the Pete Davidson of the NBA. Anthony Black is also included in this, going to the Nets. And then the Nets get 1, 2, 3 first-round picks from the Magic, including the 18th pick in this draft. And then, once again, an unprotected Boston second. The 60th pick in the draft, dude. Good thing it's unprotected.
A Celtics second rounder.
Yeah, we need that. We need that.
I like this comment from Billy. Josiah to get back at Kyrie just gets like reverse Kyrie with Jonathan Isaac.
What's so funny about that is that's like a pick that gets included to make sure everything is touching. Like you do that instead of just trading nothing in a lot of trades. So also including that in a trade that already has 3 players and 3 first-round picks is so fucking funny to me.
Okay, I have to put my Sam cap on here and point out that it is illegal to aggregate salary in a sign and trade. So that this trade just can't happen.
Oh, that's true.
Man.
That's also true.
Could you do it as 2 separate trades though? Could you do it as
just make the unprotected second for Claxton.
Yeah, you could just do Anthony Black and Wendell Carter as the sign and trade for Nick Claxton, and then do a Mikal Bridges, Jonathan Isaac, and picks swap.
It would get at least close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know that unprotected second could really be anything. I mean, it's really important that it's unprotected.
Hey, listen, Nikola Jokic was drafted with the 2nd round pick. It's possible, dude. It's Draymond Green, Manu Ginobili, common thing.
Chris Middleton.
If the Celtics drafted 41st, I would cry tears of joy because that means the Celtics are in the lottery and that's the playoffs. And it's never happened in my life. Like since I've been like a sentient basketball fan, the Celtics have been bad for 1 season. It was glorious.
Yeah, and you never stop hearing about the 1 season they were bad and the 1 season they were mid during the COVID year. Like, the only thing you ever hear about
for that year of rebuild, singular, because they missed the playoffs 1 time.
The party just never ends, dude. When you're a Celtics fan, must be nice, Sam.
Yeah, I've had a great time.
We're adding Sam's to the first
still haven't even touched Sam's or mine yet.
Yeah, we'll get into them. We'll get into them now. Let's start with okay.
Just real mad. Oh wait.
No, this is good. This is.
I mean,
oh no, it isn't. Never mind. I got you. Start. Sorry.
Why are the Cavs just getting everything imaginable?
Yeah, Sam made the Cavs a super team somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he wants Smart to win.
Oh, okay. And also, to be fair, I do just want to point out here before we get into the nitty-gritty of this trade, the Nets do have a history of making super teams. The Celtics are in the finals right now because of them.
You know, the 3rd overall pick will be a superstar. I'm 100% sure of it. It does not matter who they pick.
Doesn't matter. They could take Bronny, and he would somehow become a superstar. They could take Tom. They could take Tom Gore's nephew, and who averaged 0.7 points per game in college, and he would be a superstar in the NBA if he is selected with a top 5 pick from the Brooklyn Nets. So, all right, the Nets get Donovan Mitchell and Cole Anthony, Sam's favorite guard, who is not good, but he thinks he's good.
3 alphas with Cam Thomas is the new blueprint in Brooklyn.
Combo guards around Cam Thomas. That's really what they need.
Yeah,
I can trade all.
Yeah.
I believe the Nets' best wing after this trade would be Jalen Wilson.
Yes.
I like how the original 3 alphas were 3 Hall of Famers, and the 3 alphas Sam has created, there is 1 starter.
Yeah, so what would the Nets be rolling out? You know, I guess you assume you bring back Claxton. So
yeah, Claxton's coming back.
Oh, Anthony, Jalen Wilson, Noah Clowney, and Nick Claxton. I guess it'd be your 5.
Tariq Whitehead could play probably.
He shot below 40% from the field in the G League.
Yeah, he was injured. He was injured.
Yeah, he's been injured for 4 years. Give him a break.
That Sam has traded away 3 Nets players who are all mostly starters or play significant minutes, and they've 0 wins, despite getting it, plus 0 wins. It's just like, yeah, it's the same team.
Why is Orlando getting Garland and DFS for like just Cole Anthony in the 18th pick
and Jonathan Isaac?
Yeah.
Well, look, Darius Garland's value's low right now. You got to consider that. So, yeah, the Magic get Darius Garland and Dorian Finney-Smith. The Cavs get Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Jonathan Isaac, Marcus Smart. Sam's like, what if we created the greatest defense of all time, but also we got rid of all of our initiators?
Yeah.
Marcus Smart?
Yeah, it's Marcus Smart's team. You run the offense through Marcus Smart, but it's a defensive juggernaut, and you have 5 first-round picks now. They get 5 first-round picks. So, by the way, the Magic are giving up 2 first-round picks to get Darius Garland. So, and Jonathan Isaac. Yeah. So it's not as ridiculous as you might think.
So hold on. Hold on. They get the 9th pick and the 18th pick in this draft. Who are you targeting for your Cavs now that Marcus Smart is leading the 30-year-old Marcus Smart is leading the way?
Anyone better than Marcus Smart. So
yeah.
This team is just gonna have Evan Mobley, Jonathan Isaac, and Cam Johnson lock arms at half court and just play Red Rover.
I think they'd be a good team. I'm just gonna put this out there. That's a top 4 team in the East, baby. Like that's
Dan Gilbert had the owner mandate that the entire starting roster has to be traded.
Sam, I need to know who you're taking with the 9th pick in this draft. If they get that, though, I need you to answer me.
You could get Klingon. I think
Klingon. You need more defense on this team.
Yeah. You get a little size. To go with
another big, great, awesome.
Mobley does well with a true center next to him. So
who can't shoot.
Yeah,
great. I love this idea. Great. Also, in no way is Klingon ever going to be on the board by pick 9. I do just want to put
Ron Holland or whoever. I don't know, whoever's there.
No, because then they might run it through him instead of Smart. So it's got to be a big. Zach Edey, top 10 pick, baby.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Let's go.
Right. We also didn't mention the Grizzlies get Jared Allen basically for Marcus Smart and the 9th pick.
Well, that trade, I think, that trade in itself, if the Cavs are going to move on, I think that they would have to get a little bit more because no one values picks in this draft for some reason. But that framework is at least the beginning of a trade idea. But I don't. And then
I think this is break down what's unrealistic for me. I'm just when you go through team by team, it makes sense for every team besides the Nets. The Nets are the one that it makes the least sense for, but you are getting Donovan Mitchell. To be fair, I think it is a reasonable return for Donovan Mitchell.
Sam only
Mitchell.
Yeah, Sam
the greatest trade ever.
Will, you need to understand, Sam only understands teams that are built on trades that make no sense for the Nets.
Yeah, exactly. That's the formula. It's why would the Nets do this? And then you have a dynasty.
It's the market inefficiency, dude. All you have to do is just if you're the Cavs, you just have to hope that other GMs grew up rooting for the Cavs. Like they were in 10 years when it's like guys that grew up rooting for LeBron when they were younger are all running NBA teams. The Cavs will be a dynasty, just like all the GMs that grew up Celtics fans that just trade them stars.
Take the picks off. I think Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and Dorian Finney-Smith for Donovan Mitchell and a first. I think that's a totally reasonable exchange.
Well, but the Nets aren't getting a first.
No, they're not getting a first. No. That's what I'm saying. They're giving up a first. Do you think that's not reasonable for Donovan Mitchell?
I mean, what's the point? You're giving up all your best players.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not arguing that. Josiah seems to want a Donovan Mitchell on the team for some reason. It makes no sense. Don't get me wrong.
Nets fans would love Cole Anthony because he's athletic and is bad. So, like, he looks cool, but he's a bad player, which is like all Nets fans really want. So,
I don't even know if he's athletic. He's just a hooper. Like, I do.
Crazy. He was in the dunk contest. He's just small.
Yeah, he's tiny.
So, anyway, I just want to point out here. Wait, was Cole Anthony in the dunk contest? I don't even remember that.
Didn't he dunk in Tim's? It
was so awful.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember. But I just want to point out the Nets would be left. What would their starters be? Ben Simmons.
It'd be real. That's what Will just said.
Yeah. They're ready for prime time.
Donovan Mitchell, Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, Nick Claxton. The spacing.
Oh, I mean, Ben Simmons is not an NBA player. So, Jalen Wilson and Noah Clowney is the starting wings.
Let's go.
Wings, Clowney.
Let's go.
You signed Paul George in free agency.
How do you have cap space? Oh, you do have cap space.
Yeah.
Just do the ball don't stop thing of how like the Suns needed to add Fred VanVleet. Just do that.
I would try to acquire him.
You could also immediately create like $20 million in cap space or like $18 million just by stretching Ben Simmons.
Well, that's a good idea for sure. Is when you have a mid team with no picks, doing waves and stretches is always a good.
I'm just saying,
Troy Weaver
there's
told us.
never going to be free agents again after this,
and
for a while.
To be clear, because you guys missed it on the slop trial, Dwayne Dedman will get paid by the Detroit Pistons season $1 million. Like his stretch is still happening.
Unbelievable.
That's insane.
How is that even possible, dude?
Yeah,
it's like a 5-year stretch in 2020. Like the maximum stretch is, I think, 5 years.
You remember Josh Smith got stretched for like 7 years by Stan Van Gundy. That was awesome.
They're just addicted to wave and stretches.
They were paying him like $7 million for like years and years. So,
oh my goodness.
All right. This is Sam's next
What?
trade idea.
This is just like, I mean, I guess the Knicks aren't mid, but like, this is just a bunch of like competitive-ish non-contenders moving shit around just because.
What are the Hawks doing?
Yeah. So the Hawks get Alex Caruso, CJ McCollum, and the 21st pick in the draft. The Bulls get Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. The Pelicans get Trae Young and Nikola Vucevic. And then the Knicks get Brandon Ingram and a lottery-protected first for the Pelicans. So the Pelicans give up 2 firsts, CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram for Trae Young, but they have to take on Vooch's contract, okay? And then, oh my God, this is scrambling my brain. What did you do?
Why don't the Hawks just take Brandon Ingram? What?
Who is the second most valuable player in this trade? I think it's Alex Caruso.
It's Alex Caruso. It's definitely Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
That's why CJ McCollum is going to the Hawks. He's the salary. He's the salary.
Sam just looked at 4 teams' problems and said, what if they just traded all of their problems for each other? No vision, no anything. Just here, you don't want to pay this player. Here's him.
I think I've made every team better except maybe the Knicks, because I don't know if Brandon Ingram for
They're a less Tibbs guy than Ingram.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the Knicks, it's kind of like a upside, like it's kind of a boom bust swing, but you do get a first round pick. But I think every other team does get substantially better.
I don't know. I think that people misunderstand what Tibbs likes, to be honest, because Tibbs loves buckets. Yeah. Tibbs thinks Alec Burks is a god. Tibbs also loves Tobias Harris.
No, but Ingram sucks.
I mean, he does.
Is Ingram worse than Tobias Harris? That's Tibbs likes Tobias. He said it like 10 times.
Well, because the Sixers easier to beat. So sure, that's why I like it. Like the Hawks, there's no years where the Hawks get better at doing that. You're ridiculous.
Tell me the Bulls with Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Julius Randle won't be a movie though.
Oh, the Bulls get better because they're swapping Vooch and Caruso for Randle and No, the Bulls definitely get better. The Hawks wins.
The Hawks with CJ McCollum with but you got to remember for DeJounte Murray, because Trae Young, like, it's not equal value, but like CJ McCollum makes more sense with DeJounte Murray somehow, which is insane, but it's true. And Alex Caruso gives them like a little bit of defense. It's very funny. I'm just saying. I thought long and hard about this.
Did you?
Why?
Because it's good. It's a good trade. This is the trade machine war crimes. This is what we need, folks.
The only war criminal here is fucking CJ McCollum for this dog shit CBA.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sam clearly put more thought into like why the teams would do this. Like, I just tried to be fun making mine.
I tried to make the grossest trades where you're mad at me for a little bit, and then you're like, I guess, but like, fuck you for making me look at this.
I'm just picturing Quavo dapping up Alex Caruso after the game, and it's a very funny image.
That's what we need, baby. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like going from Trae Young to Alex Caruso in terms of vibes from one end of the spectrum to the other. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's simple. The Timberwolves get Kevin Durant, and the Suns get Karl Anthony Towns.
I can see Ishmael pushing for this. Like, you need more physicality on the inside. I played at Michigan State. I won a national championship. I know what I'm talking about.
Who says now?
Challenge trade.
Challenge trade, House.
Okay, listen. I'm just saying, Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, they played together in college. Anthony Edwards, I just think that Kevin Durant has a respect for Anthony Edwards after he called him a bitch during that Wolves Sun series. I think he would want to play with that guy. I don't know. I think he would. Am I crazy? I think that it works for both teams.
This is like a steel sharpened steel for how many downer vibe guys Ant Edwards can have on his team. This is like getting the Thanos of downer vibes in Kevin Durant to play.
Isn't that Rudy Gobert?
Well, he already has Rudy.
Yeah, I know, but that has to be the Thanos of ruining the
Conley and Gobert. That's the only reason it works. They need to have Conley to offset Gobert's vibes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he does.
So if you liked this trade, but we're not war crime enough for me, we can go on to the next trade, which is a new fun little thing for it.
Hold me. Sam, drop your address. Drop location.
All right. So the Heat get Damian Lillard and the first pick. I'm sorry, the first round pick, the 23rd pick in this draft from the Bucks. The Timberwolves get Kevin Durant. The Suns get Jimmy Butler. And then the Bucks get Karl Anthony Towns to pair with Giannis.
This one almost makes sense to me.
Fuck you.
You hate Dame. You said it all year.
Yeah, you don't like Dame. You gotta backtrack here. NB, why is it bad for you guys to get Karl Anthony Towns?
We're trying to be first to get fucking Karl Anthony Towns. It's just as bad as a contract as Dame. What are we doing?
I want to point out how cap neutral this is for every team, which is also very fucking funny.
I forgot Chris Middleton. Okay, wait. Middleton. Where the fuck? Brooke Lopez at the 2?
Hold on. No. Hold on. Let me figure out the starting lineup for the Bucks real quick. Pat Bev at the point guard.
Yep.
Middleton at the 2. Giannis at the 3. Karl Anthony Towns at the 4. Brooke Lopez at the 5. You have literally a massive front court in Giannis, Cat, and Brooke Lopez. A lot of spacing.
Yeah, Sam, I'm disappointed in the lack of TPEs generated in this trade.
That's true. I couldn't figure out.
I have to break it to you, Sam. The Bucks can't take any additional money back due to being a second apron team, so this just doesn't work. That's the reason why this trade doesn't work.
You can do it after. You can trade the. You can do that later in the offseason. You can agree to it on draft night. Sign the player that's drafted with 23, and then it will work.
Oh yeah, the salary will be. But but then Sam, they can't aggregate players.
Hold on.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Darn.
That is so funny. Tro, please read this.
No fucking way, dude.
That's no.
Mark, I need to read this. Mark Stein just reported that the Pistons are considering firing Monty Williams and hiring Chauncey Billups. Why?
Doesn't Monty still have 3 years left on that $10 million a year contract?
I thought it was an 8-year deal or something insane.
5.
I thought it was. It's only 5.
4 years left. So they're going to pay Monty Williams to retire, basically. And then they're going to say, hire one of the only coaches who is proven to be worse than Monty Williams.
No. They have to trade for a coach that is worse than Monty Williams.
You can't trade coaches anymore.
But
wait,
all right,
how would Chauncey Billups get out of his contract?
All right, so send the Blazers Cade, get off that money, and you get Chauncey Billups to be your coach.
Mike Schmitz was. Hey, look, if there's anyone who values Cade, it's the king of draft Twitter, Mike Schmitz. I'm just saying. We could be cooking up something here.
Pull up this Billy message. Monty still has $70 million on his contract.
Jesus Christ,
that's Grayson Allen money.
Let's go.
Is Langdon Weaver again? Is this this is kind of in like fantasy novels when the evil king, like this dark spirit, is in the throne. Like the second you take over the Detroit Pistons job, the ghost of Joe Dumars possesses you and you just become like a terrible GM. This would be like one of the worst. This would immediately make Langdon like the heir apparent to the like new worst GM in the league if they were to do this. This is such a bad idea.
Yeah, this is a horrible idea, but I do just want to point out there, Mark Stein can be, speaking from experience as a Sixers fan with a GM who leaks to Mark Stein. Mark Stein also will report things as favors for people. I know this because he literally has leaked that Morey didn't have a chance to get Halliburton when everyone with a fucking brain knows that he had a chance to get fucking Tyrese Halliburton 2 years ago. So I just want to point out there, if Chauncey Billups is trying to get an extension with the Blazers, this kind of leak would benefit Chauncey Billups in his negotiations. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm doubting how fucking dumb the Detroit Pistons can possibly be. But I'm also just saying that is a thing that happens. So
I'm choosing to believe it because it would be really funny.
Yeah, it is the funniest thing that could possibly happen. All right, let's
That's
add.
the end of
Thank God,
mine.
thank God Sam's trades are fucking done because Jesus Christ.
You loved them.
Let's go.
What?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
So,
All right.
That's so many
I think
picks.
De'Aaron Fox should be doing everything in his power to get to the Eastern Conference because the Kings are going nowhere. Like, I know it's like shitty and depressing, but they're not gonna get like maybe if they have a perfect offseason. I just think Sabonis will suck in the playoff no matter what you do. Like, even if you have a great regular season, like Sabonis is just a playoff. Like, so like if I'm Fox, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, we have one young player, and he's not really that young, and he's like okay, but he's nothing special.
And I bet if you asked an NBA media member, I'm sorry, we're talking over you, Will, but they would all say Sabonis is better than Fox for absolutely no reason.
Defensive Player of the Year candidate, Domantas Sabonis.
There you
That's
go.
true.
But
So-
and I think that if I'm a star guard in the West, I want to go play for the Orlando Magic.
Okay,
Because
so
he's
this trade
fine.
is Jalen Suggs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this 6 first-round picks, Will?
Yeah, I think so. I think De'Aaron Fox would cost the moon. Well, that 2026 is a swap with it's that swap they got for Bol from the Suns.
So Jalen Suggs 5 firsts at a swap for De'Aaron Fox to the Magic.
Yeah, I know it's an insane price, but the Kings don't really have like you have. I think you'd have to pay a ton to get De'Aaron Fox, and like you'd be so good and so young that I think you'd be fine trading really distant picks because your best players are like 22.
Yeah,
and like I think you'd immediately be like at least the third best team in the East with a ton of room to grow still.
a Kings fan has pointed out to me that De'Aaron Fox would just do the Pascal Siakam thing because he wants the Supermax extension, which he could be eligible for if he makes All NBA next year. So he would just say, "I'm not re-signing with whatever team you trade me to."
That's never happened. I just thought it'd be fun.
Yes, but I did think that was interesting because he wants to stay in Sacramento. So like that is an interesting wrinkle, mainly because of the financial implications, I'm sure. But De'Aaron Fox is going to sign a Supermax probably a year from now. Just
Bradley Beal loved Washington, D.C.
Yes, exactly.
Suddenly didn't love Washington, D.C. so much.
Exactly. I think we might be having another scenario with that where a guard really, really loves. It does seem like he genuinely does like Sacramento. I mean, he's wrote it out there this long. Like most players will be like, "Get me the fuck out of here." And I'm sure the Kings are happy just to have a guy who wants to stay there for 10 years. Like,
all right, my next one's funnier though.
okay.
But all right. People are asking the wrong questions with the Lakers and the Hawks. Should the Lakers get DeJounte Murray? Should the Lakers get Trae Young? No. You're thinking about this all wrong. The Lakers need to get DeJounte Murray and Trae Young.
Okay. All right.
Not good fit together. And pretend that thing at the end says 2031 because the Lakers can trade 2031. They just have to wait till draft night. And Expo doesn't. And like, the Lakers love doing this. They love making trades for the sake of making trades.
True.
They're just being like, okay, let's get big names. And,
so the Lakers get Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. The Hawks get D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and 3 first-round picks.
Yeah,
all the picks they could trade.
Yeah,
which would obviously,
which has been so prosperous
together.
Gotta add LeBron and AD to it, and it'll
I
work.
will,
team.
I will say, if you added LeBron and AD to it, I bet you they'd be pretty good. Just going out on a limb to say if you add them to 2 all-NBA players that are like, one elite defender and one really good playmaker. I mean, it's definitely not the cleanest fit in the world. They all want to have the ball. And 2 of them are pretty massive liabilities on defense, and then LeBron doesn't give a fuck. JJ Redick is going to love this team is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's the perfect coach to put this all together. I mean, did you see he was breaking down pick and roll coverages with LeBron on a podcast? Darvin Ham could never break down. This is a huge difference.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but people pointed this out in the Discord. When they asked JJ about like the Lakers' problems last year and like what Darvin Ham could do to overcome it, he was basically like, this roster sucks. He's basically like, no coach could overcome this. And I just want to know what he says in the press conference if they do ask him about that quote, because it's like, well, you're probably going to have a largely similar roster next year, JJ Redick. What are you going to do to make it better? Because the Lakers, like you said, they have 3 first-round picks to trade, but who are they going to trade for? Like, are they going to trade for DeJounte? Okay, that does nothing for them. I really do think they should just trade for Trae Young. Like, he's the best player available, and if you're going to make a stupid trade anyway, at least get a guy who's really good.
Yeah, and like, Trae has basically been a elite offensive floor raiser. And then if you put him with Anthony, like they should that should go crazy. Like,
yes,
Trae's,
that should be a very good team.
Trae like is the worst like personality ever, but like he's not like I do think he'd kind of go crazy with actual good players, especially if they're both like large the way LeBron.
Yeah, man. And him and Cam Reddish have conference finals experience together. NB can tell you, I can tell you.
Cam Reddish Game 6 was a movie.
Dude, Cam Reddish. It's so funny if you look up, because Cam Reddish is the opposite of DeJounte Murray, where he's only made the playoffs one time, but he shot 56% from 3 in the playoffs.
No. Trill, it's important you remember. The only game he played in that series.
He only played in one game?
He only played Game 6.
I think he played spot minutes here and there.
Yeah.
But he's I know in the Sixers series, I'm not sure he played once in the Sixers.
He did not play in the Sixers series. What makes the Sixers series so bad is that, well, actually, no, it actually makes a ton of sense. I was going to say, what makes the Sixers series bad is that they didn't have DeAndre Hunter or Cam Reddish, but it also explains why they won. Because those guys
they didn't have bad players. They had to play more of their good players.
Exactly. The Sixers were completely unprepared when the Hawks were like, wait, what if we just played these guys who don't suck? And we're like, fuck, we were not prepared for this at all. All right, let's move on to the next one. This looks good.
This is my like reverse challenge trade where I just think this is fun. I don't really know the value. Like I think this one, because I just think the Pacers, like, we have a ton of offensive juice, but our sucks. We're good and young. And the Wolves are like the exact opposite. They have a ton of defensive juice, but their offense kind of sucks. And
well, you need really hate Jaden McDaniels.
I really am not a big Jaden McDaniels fan, but I don't know. Like, is this about right? Like, you get a cheap wing in the meantime in Neesmith, and then Nembhard is like a perfect guard next to Edwards going forward. And then you
for
just play
Jaden McDaniels, Leonard Miller in the 27th pick of this draft.
And then you just play Alexander Walker and pay him less than the money you gave Jaden McDaniels. And I think McDaniels would go hard with Halliburton and Siakam and them. Like, so they just desperately need a real stopper because they don't have one.
So here's the thing. If Jaden McDaniels, regardless of what you think of him, if he was made available for trade, it's the Mikal Bridges thing, where it's like teams would just blow you away with offers. But I guess if you are the Timberwolves, you really just want to get players because because Ant's too good.
And McDaniels, it says $22 million. That's only what he makes in year one. It's like almost $30 million a year.
Yeah, he makes a lot of money.
And he's a lot worse than Mikal. Like, he's like averages like 10 points.
Yeah, no, Mikal is better than McDaniels. I mean, but the thing is that, like, I guess the idea is that you're like McDaniels is going to keep getting better and better, but like he's probably, I don't want to say he's close to his ceiling, but for like what you think he's going to be, I mean, sure, he'll get better. Every player gets better as they go on into their 20s, but he's roughly similar to probably what he's going to be in a few years.
I think he's so overrated. Like honestly, I think the Pacers would end up. I think Nembhard, because of the Brunson shit, I find that anytime
I knew you were going to say
anytime a low usage guard goes off now, is this next Jalen Brunson? Like that's like a once in a generation type shit. Like Aaron Brunson will be a fine starter. Like he's probably not anything more. Like
sure.
I think this would make both teams better.
Interesting. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. I knew you were going to eventually get the Sixers involved here. Thank you. No, fuck you.
The Sixers get rid of Tobias, so they bring in all the Tobias.
Every Tobias.
So they bring in DeAndre Hunter.
This is the cap space plan.
Yeah.
They just get they can have a whole team of Tobiases when it beats 6. They get DeAndre Hunter, Keldon Johnson, Caris LeVert, and a sign and trade for Patrick Williams.
And then they also give up Paul Reed. They just guarantee his money in this deal to make it work. The Bulls get the 16th pick for Patrick Williams in the sign and trade. The Hawks get a second just because they have to get something back. And the Spurs get the Mickey first that the Sixers have from the Harden trade.
You keep your best draft assets.
There you go.
You get 3 two-way wings.
I'll tell you this much. They should be on 2 ways, folks. Have you heard this one?
Oh.
I do just want to point out here, DeAndre Hunter from here, Keldon Johnson or Caris LeVert, you catch them on the right night, and you're like, whoa, these fucking guys. Like that when the shot is falling, incredible players.
Sure. This is what I'm saying. That's why you have to get all of them so that each playoff game, one of them has it that night.
The roulette.
That guy.
Yeah.
That's why you need to get 4 of them.
And then Patrick Williams, who sucks, but he looks good. He looks like a good player.
That's your wing stopper. That's your Tatum defender.
There you go. Patrick Williams, you are a Philadelphia 76er. Did you guys see the rumor that OKC is interested in him? And I was like, who could have possibly watched the Maverick series and been like, you know what this team needs? Patrick Williams.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's not a rebounder at all, right?
No, he's one of the worst rebounding wings in the NBA. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't shoot nearly enough. And he's a slow decision maker that, he's just not good. I mean, he's got good tools and he's very young still, but like he's a bad basketball player for what they need right now.
Thunder trade me Kendrick Williams for Bobby Portis. He rebounds. You can do all sorts of stuff for you.
And I almost tagged you. A bunch of Sixers fans in the Discord. Like I kind of think the Sixers should take Bobby Portis for free. Like if his trade value is that low, and
it's not, but
I think it should be. He does kind of.
I do too. But at least from what I've heard, the league values Bobby Portis a lot more than most people who've actually watched Bobby Portis actually would.
Well, then, I don't know why Bobby Portis is still in Milwaukee.
Neither do I.
I do just want to point out that this is the same Discord that every other week talks themselves into John Collins on the Sixers, a player who, like Bobby Portis, has been available since he came into the league, basically. Like, does anyone want John Collins? And the second he gets traded, his new team's like, we also do not want John Collins. So that's where we're at. And that's what was the argument, was that if you're going to get a 4 who has defensive issues, at least Bobby Portis will have an occasional game where he turns into Kevin Durant and makes 9 threes. So there's that.
Same Discord that demands JT Thor every hour.
Right.
JT Thor tonight, Queen. JT Thor tonight.
I think you're kidding, but that's basically...
No, I saw the thing. That's all I could think about was if I had Photoshop, I wanted to Photoshop the JT Thor tonight Queen iMessage thing.
But he's a special player, JT Thor. Do not disrespect JT Thor.
He's special because I genuinely believe he might be the worst player in the NBA.
But he's young. He's 21 still. Troy Weaver pick. I'm just pointing it out. Oh God.
What? Right, this is just save my mental health trade.
Yes, the Warriors, who notably have enough cap space to do a sign and trade.
No, it's okay. It's okay because we're taking Chris Paul off their hands. It's okay. It's definitely legal. So,
so
Charlie, you can read.
the Nets get Chris Paul, Dylan Brooks, Moses Moody, Ousmane Dieng, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first-round picks from the Rockets and the Thunder, and then a second-round pick from the Warriors. The Rockets get Mikal Bridges. The Thunder get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith to shore up their wing rotation. Hey, look, why take Patrick Williams when you could just get the fully actualized version of Patrick Williams and Dorian Finney-Smith? And the Warriors get Nicholas Claxton in a sign-and trade. Will's like, hey, look, if we're going to lose Claxton, I want to see him on a team with Steph Curry at least.
Yes.
Can I see?
All the podcasters will be like, he's been unlocked. And I'm like, it was always this good.
Can I say something? I actually like this trade for the other 3 teams. So if the Nets fans would do this, I think it's actually a fine trade.
I let Houston keep the 3rd pick, and I get
there
everything
you go.
else. So get back, but the Nets get back their whole future. So like going forward, they have everything.
But the Rockets could get Mikal Bridges and Reed Shepherd in this situation. And then their team's really good.
Yeah. So then you have Shepherd. Like if you're the Rockets, you have Shepherd. Well, I guess Fred for now. Fred, Bridges, Jabari, Thompson, Şengün, and then off the bench you still have Tommy, Whitmore, and then Reed for the time being. And then you groom Reed Shepherd to take over the Fred VanVleet spot. Because I assume in the long run they're going to replace Fred. And Reed is kind of if you have Amon Thompson and Alperen Şengün, Reed is like a perfect starting point guard because you don't really want like a ball dominant. Like you want an off ball.
Yeah, Will, if they're trying to groom Reed, don't you think that they should pick up Josh Giddey from the Thunder?
Yeah. Groom. I've always said people who like Reed are groomers. So
yeah. And then I said 2 firsts, Ousmane Dieng for DFS and Cam Johnson. Nets fans will love Dieng because he sucks, so they'll love him. I don't know anything about him. I know he's tall and was picked high 2 years ago. So I'm I'm all in. Let's get him on this fair. And then
do you remember Sekou Doumbouya? It's think of the same process.
You mean Nets legend Sekou Doumbouya? He was part of the DeAndre Jordan salary dump.
Of course. How could I ever forget him?
But the Nets just get control of their future back and then 2 extra firsts and then get flyers on young guys. I'd assume they buy out Chris Paul so he can go sign with the Lakers.
This is absolutely perverted.
This would save my life. This would fix would fix all of my life problems. I would immediately lose 50 pounds. Everything would just magically be cured overnight. Cam Thomas and Ousmane Dieng leading the Nets to 17 and 65 next year will be a movie.
Oh my God. This is disgusting. And I'm glad that it was some form of therapy for you. And that I hope that you can feel some inner peace. All right. Let's see what Will's encore is here. Unreadable. Okay.
You see Steph Curry going to the Magic. This is just
and also the Warriors get LeBron James.
LeBron.
All right. So hold on. Let me read the thing. Okay. I don't know why I try to make this an audio episode every fucking year. It should just be a video episode. The Warriors get LeBron James, Cole Anthony, and a first-round pick. I can't even read it because it's all fucked up. The Magic get, I think, Steph Curry. Hopefully not Seth Curry. The Lakers get Bojan Bogdanovic. Oh, because LeBron is a free agent. Okay, LeBron is a free agent. Okay. And 3 firsts. And then also Klay Thompson in a sign-and trade. Okay, his dad played for the Lakers, so yeah, going back there. Julius Randle, Jalen Suggs, and 3 firsts to the Suns. And then Kevin Durant and Jalen Shafino to the Knicks. 3 of the greatest players of all time in 1 trade. And also Kevin Durant, because I'm including Julius Randle on that list.
LeBron wants to be a LeBron and Draymond want to finish their careers together. Like everyone fucking knows that.
Of course.
So, and then you got pods, and then you need some rebounding, which Cole Anthony provides. And then what better fit with 2 stud 2-way wings, the greatest shooter in NBA history. And Orlando's ownership will love Steph. They will collaborate to make sure no public housing is ever built in the city of Orlando.
Wow.
And then they're going forward with franchise player Anthony Davis. So if you have a stud interior guy, what do you need around him? That's right, shooting. So you get one of the best shooters of all time in Klay Thompson and Bojan Bogdanovic, an elite shooter, and more draft capital, so you can trade for more pieces. You have 6 tradable firsts now.
Let's go. You can get Trae Young and DeJounte Murray.
Exactly. Yeah, we looped that in with the trade from before.
And the snake has eaten its own tail.
And then the Suns get that interior presence they need with Randall and actually a competent fucking tender in the Suns. And then the Knicks get their second star and probably future star Jalen Hood-Schifino, because he was taking over by Jimski, Jaquez, Cam Whitmore. He must be so good.
He honestly, yes, I would say, yeah. I mean, it's not every year that you're able to acquire a recent 17th pick in the draft. Like, if you can do it, you got to do it. Like it's not just something that always drops in your lap. It does say there is one more slide here. Will, do I dare click it, or is that it?
Oh, it might. I think it's just an empty slide. I don't think.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll finish off the ones that we had here, and then.
Oh no! You have to preface this. Okay, this is from the article.
Okay, this is from the article. Is called
one move each contender should make if they want to keep contending, or so every single playoff team has a trade in here.
Right. So for the Cavs move, they're trading Donovan Mitchell to the Nets for
this is fantastic.
For Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dennis Schroeder if they want to continue contending.
That's a good trade. This is a great trade.
So I'm assuming that every single publication that makes these trades thinks that Cam Thomas is like a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Guess who averaged more points per game last year? Cam Thomas, who supposedly sucks, or the best prospect ever, Victor Wembanyama. That's right. Cam Thomas averaged more points. This game is about bucket. And the goal is to score the basketball. And Cam Thomas is therefore better than Victor Wembanyama, who's supposedly the best prospect in the NBA.
All right, so I have the article pulled up on my phone here. I'm just going to read. Examining their package, Finney-Smith neatly slots into the starting forward spot the Cavaliers have been struggling to fill for years, and he shot 37.1% from 3 over the past 5 years.
Awesome.
Thomas would help make up for the loss of individual scoring, and while Schroeder could cover ball handling duties for the bench.
There you go. This is actually perfect. I actually think they should call this in.
They should do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, if the Mavericks have proved anything, it's that if you take a shitty point guard and trade him with Dorian Finney-Smith, you can immediately go to the NBA Finals. So congrats to the Nets.
Angle. Yeah. Shitty point guard on an expiring plus DFS is an all NBA player guard package.
There you go. Yeah, this is literally just the Kyrie Irving trade all over again, except you get a flyer on Cam Thomas.
I could see Bob's tweets now being like, well, Cam Thomas averaged more points per game than anyone in his 2 drafts except for the first overall picks in Paolo and DFS. They denied 2 firsts for him, so he's worth 2 firsts. So this is plenty of value if you're the Cavaliers. Really, the Nets should be giving up less.
Yeah. I actually do the Cavs throw in a pick is my question.
I can't believe you guys let Will usual suspects you all. Like, he clearly made this website and article ahead of time, knowing that MB was going to go through looking for this.
Will is Kaiser Sose.
Yeah, Will is Kaiser Sose into that podcast with this article. This is we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, he did just mention grooming a little bit ago, and who plays Kaiser Sose?
That's true.
Spoiler for the unusual 30-year-old movie.
Yeah. I wouldn't call what Kevin Spacey does grooming so much as witness assassination. Witness and accuser assassination. Allegedly.
Cleveland needs to throw in an unprotected second rounder. It can't be protected. It's got to be an unprotected
second rounder. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of, the Oklahoma City Thunder get Zach Collins for Josh Giddey. Wemby's read request trade run.
I think this is the rare Giddy trade that I've seen that I don't think I would do if I was the Thunder. That kind of sucks and makes a lot of money.
It's a good point. How much? Hold on. How much? Oh, he has multiple years left on his deal too.
It's
right?
like 2 years, $18 million a year. He stinks.
That's actually. This is the only we found the Josh Giddey trade that we wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And my original thought was, why would you do this to Wemby? But to be fair, the Spurs do love meme players. They're still trying to convince me that Jeremy Sohan is good. So, just saying.
Wemby would be on national television telling everyone Josh Giddey's like the best point guard he's ever played with because his other point guard option is fucking as Jeremy Sohan.
Yeah, Trey Jones not up to starting caliber. All right, so I think this is the last trade.
Love this.
Yeah, the Suns go, hey, give us all your good players for Nurkic.
Good in quotes.
Well, Andre Drummond's good for them, but yeah.
I mean, this would make Kev throw up.
I still believe in Javon Carter despite his down year in Chicago this year. But
so the Suns get Andre Drummond, Torrey Craig, and Javon Carter. Torrey Craig goes back to the Suns for the
so does Javon
time?
Carter.
Oh, so does Javon Carter. But not, this would be the third or fourth time Torrey Craig has played for the Suns. The Bulls get Nurkic's contract to add alongside Vucevic's contract.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vucevic and Nurkic. I'm in. Let's go. Let's do this. I love it.
And also, we did just go over the fact you can't aggregate salary in a sign and trade, right?
Well, or a sign and trade, you also can't aggregate. You also, I think you can do this where if you're the trading team that's second apron, you can. Yeah, you can break up three. So they actually did their research on this one.
No, but Drummond's a free agent.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Drummond
so you
is
can't.
a free agent.
Yeah, you can't do a free agent sign and trade.
I know Javon Carter's not, but I think Craig might also be a free agent.
I'm pretty certain he is. I'm pretty certain Javon Carter is the only player the Bulls are sending that is under contract in this trade. And they're getting back one of the worst contracts in the NBA to do it in use of Nurkic, who doesn't fit with their other shitty big that they have.
Well, they love going double big with Drummond and Vooch, so they'll love Nurkic and Vooch double bigs.
My God, that would be beautiful, dude. It's the oldest, most decrepit, horrible $40 million front court.
Hopefully they can sign Monte Morris to add some athleticism and speed, you know.
I was gonna say for the Bulls here, are they just trying to do the Thanos thing, but just collecting the worst contracts of all time?
Yeah.
Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, Vucevic, Nurkic, and in the process getting no picks to take on these contracts. Oh, by the way, speaking of, did you hear they want to sign DeMar DeRozan for $40 million a year from two different Bulls reporters? $40 million a year for 35-year-old DeMar DeRozan.
They don't own your pick next year. The Spurs have it. And they can't, it's top 10 protected, but it rolls over for 2 more years. So they can't, they'd have to really tank to knock it up. And they just clearly won't do that.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Bang up job that they are doing. It's unbelievable. We love to see it. Shout out to the Chicago Bulls, man. I really just taking Troy Weaver's torch of worst front office and just sprinting with it. They're also being connected. Apparently, the rumor was that they gave a promise to Devin Carter in this draft. We are huge fans of Devin Carter on the You Know Ball podcast, but I just want to say the last team that should be drafting Devin Carter is the Chicago Bulls.
If the Bulls need anything, it's a safe, low risk, low floor prospect.
Yeah.
Low ceiling guy. That
defense first guard. Yeah, they don't have one of those.
They're awesome, man. They're so good. We're the thing is that I think that we've talked about this before, but we're moving into a new era of GMs who aren't making aggressively stupid moves. They're being aggressively conservative, and that leads to stupid shit happening all the time. And Kardasovis is probably the peak of that. Hasn't made a trade in 3 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally agree. All right. We'll be back later in the week for the You Know Ball Patreon. Sign up for that episode. We'll actually talk about the NBA Finals. Sam's team is playing it.
Maybe, depending on the outcome.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna say Sam's really gonna want to talk about it if it goes one way, and I'm really gonna want to talk about it if it goes the other way. So tune in to see.
Actually, I'll be okay with it. A Marcus Smart victory lap.
Yeah, then then he gets to. Yeah, Sam wants the Celtics to lose because then he can defend Smart.
Kristaps Porzingis, what a great playoff trade that was for Kristaps Porzingis. All the contributions he's made this postseason.
I'm glad that you're already preparing for this.
Kristaps fraud Zingis. Do you have any idea how much better?
Sam's gonna recreate that video.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's gonna be me.
Gabagool Sam. He's going back to his New York roots.
That's right.
Great. Bye. Take care.
Peace out.